So he castigates our soldiers. This makes more news. It becomes in the news. More people tune in. He makes more money.
That's Iowa Senator Tom Harkin lashing out at radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh. Senate Democrats are calling for an apology from Limbaugh for calling troops opposed to the war in Iraq phony soldiers. Limbaugh says his words were taken out of context. With us now, Doug Schoen. He is a Democratic strategist, a Fox News contributor, and the author of Power of the Vote. Also with us, Carrie Lukas. She is director of policy, for the Independent Women's Forum, a conservative think tank. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Doug, is it wise for Senate Democrats to take on Rush Limbaugh?
Sure it is. I mean, when he says outrageous things like saying that soldiers who disagree with the administration's policies are phony soldiers, he should be taken on. He should be criticized, and ultimately Rush Limbaugh owes the soldiers and the American people an apology.
All right, Carrie, go ahead.
If I can just jump in, because this conversation is just patently ridiculous, what I would encourage my fellow guests to do is actually to read the transcript of what Rush Limbaugh said, because that's what I've done. I was actually listening at the time, and this is an absolutely fabricated...
Generally.
Well,
that's just the fact.
I would encourage Fox to go ahead and play the clip from Rush Limbaugh, because Rush Limbaugh has it prominently displayed on his website. None of the Democrats, Senator Tom Harkin is not quoting Rush Limbaugh. They are only quoting this one-term phony soldier, taking completely out of context.
Carrie, we will meet your challenge and play that clip right now. Hang on.
What's really funny is they never talk to real soldiers. They like to pull these soldiers that come up out of the blue and spout to the media.
The phony soldiers.
All right.
Pretty clear, isn't it? Phony soldiers, it's right there. Wasn't referring to one specific soldier.
Well,
I think it's very clear what he said and that he owes an apology.
Well, if you continue, first of all, you don't know who that caller is referring to. If you go on for another about 30 seconds, you hear Mr. Limbaugh start talking about Jesse McBeth, who is a man who the left has made very prominent because he came out and said that our soldiers did horrible things, burned bodies of Iraqis, and this was broadcast all over the place. And now it turns out that Jesse McBeth lied about his credentials.
But he wasn't talking about Jesse McBeth when he said phony soldiers.
Well,
he was talking about generally a group of people who he said weren't worth being treated seriously and regarded as real soldiers. Something he should apologize for.
Records should not be treated as real soldiers. If you're not a real soldier, you are a phony soldier. The AP actually used that term when describing men who had been lying about their record.
I must tell you, if you're in Iraq fighting, whether you agree or disagree with American policy, you are a real soldier, and Rush Limbaugh owes all soldiers an apology for his outrageous comments.
That anyone who was fighting in Iraq is a real soldier. What he was talking about is people who weren't real soldiers at all.
You're just mischaracterizing.
And you know that.
Doug, I guess the question is, why take on Rush Limbaugh? Some have observed that Senate Democrats have been frustrated by their inability to affect the direction of the war in Iraq, and so they're sort of making a diversion here. Is that the case?
I don't think it's a diversion. I think when somebody of Rush Limbaugh's prominence says something as outrageous as he said, he should be taken on and he should be criticized, because there's no place for that rhetoric on the left or the right. The Move On ad was wrong. Rush Limbaugh was wrong. It's time to say enough from the left and the right of these partisan, polarizing, insulting comments that hurt the American people.
Well, it's interesting because you've had Senator Kerry, who has never apologized for calling American soldiers murderous rapists back in the day. You've had Dick Durbin compare soldiers to American soldiers to Nazis and to the Cambodian
I think you're going
Pol Pot.
way too far. I think lowering the tone and trying to avoid this kind of rhetoric would only serve our interests as American people who want to just end to the war in Iraq.
We're going to have to end it there. Carrie Lukas, Doug Schoen, thank you both.